Beamer fam, back again. Today we're going to be installing the 9-color ambient LED light package retrofit thing. Took 2 weeks from AliExpress, but I'm going to be installing it on the F10, but this can be installed on F15s, F30s, pretty much any F series. But I'm going to be showing it on the F10, so let's get into it. All of them are actually labeled, so we've got right rear up right here, and I'm assuming this is left rear up, so these will be on the top of the door. Alright guys, before we get into the actual install, this will be for MBT, not the CIC. So the NBT is just the head unit. That's all that means. NBT goes from 2014 to 2017. The 2010 to 2014 is the CIC. So you can still do this install on the 2010 to 2014 CIC, but you're not going to have the iDrive controls where you can change your colors. It's going to have to be the CD player buttons, and there's like a different wiring in the footwell module for that. But I'm going to be as much help as I can to help you install the CIC as well as the MBT. Okay, now we finally got that out of the way. I just want to hurry up and do this install. I already realized all that footage was like 1 minute and 30 seconds. Anyway, I hate that stuff. I hate when like nobody shows anything. But let's go. All right, now we have to start with this. The reason we're starting with this is because we have to plug in the module to the iDrive connector. And obviously when we start installing all the door lights and everything, we want to make sure they're working before we actually reclip the door. So we're going to start with removing this. I recommend a prior trim tool, but I would also recommend putting some kind of towel here just so you don't scratch it. But I'm all gas, no brakes, so let's get to it. Probably close these back up. Then we will try to lift it out. Obviously, keep in mind there is connectors. Try to disconnect all of them. All right, pretty much disconnected all of them now. iDrive, all that. There's gonna be 2 connectors in the back here. So once you pull it out, you'll see them. Disconnect those as well. All right, now this is our iDrive connector. So I put everything in the trunk. So we're gonna go get that real quick. Here's our module. And here is most likely the wire that we're gonna plug into that. So you'll get, this is the only wire that you'll get that's like super small. So let's get to it. Here's the module. Here is the little wiring harness. So this has 8 wires coming out of it. This will plug into our iDrive blue connector. And then this, the longer side of it, module. And then this one that's left will connect to our iDrive controller. Do that later. And then on this side of the module, we are gonna have all of the distribution for all the lights. So next thing, gonna have to remove some of the interior. Okay, since we have to disassemble the interior a bit more, we do have to take the airbag out. But just before we take the airbag out, we are going to unbolt the seats, because without a battery connection and everything, obviously, you'll find out why later. But the reason we're gonna unbolt the seat is because we need access to this B-pillar so we can get the wires for the LED through this grommet right here. Torx 50 before the battery gets disconnected, and then also going to do that for the driver's seat. So let's get to it. Move it all the way back. Both of the bolts in the front are taken off. I forgot to mention that you might have plastic trim around here that you just have to unclip, and then you can get access to these bolts. Now we're going to move the seat all the way up front and then do the rear bolts. All right, with the seat out of the way, we are going to have to remove this airbag. Torx 30, one on the other side also. And then right here, you're gonna have T20s. Mine are not here, but. And then one bolt right here, which is also a Torx 20. I'm gonna have to remove that. All right, with that off, we are going to gently pry the airbag connector. And then we have those two connectors right there. Just take those out, not a big deal. All right, so now we have to get to this so we can get all the wires through here and into the door panel. This is gonna be a 8mm on top, and then it should just pop right off. And then right here, we're obviously gonna have to most likely remove this. I think mine's already actually clipped off. Yours is gonna take a lot more prying force than that. I would use a trim tool. And peel the carpet back. And then we should see that wiring harness right there, actually, I believe. Let me see. Yep. So that is the wiring harness for the door. Now we're going to remove this real quick. 8mm. I would recommend using a shorter socket. See if we can pry this out. Want to lift it up, and there is the harness for our door. Gonna go ahead and get this out of the way too. It should just pry. All right, so we got the 8mm bolt off. Now we have to pull this up. And that should disconnect the actual wiring harness for the door. It's kind of hard with the door in the way. Trying to get this on camera also. Okay, all right, that was my bad. So once you just pull this up, this will be a lot easier. All right, moving on to the door panel. Gonna have to obviously remove this, and then after we remove this wooden trim, it's gonna expose a T30 torque screw somewhere over here, and we need to remove this door handle also, because there is a T30 back there. So we've got the door panel here. Try to remove this trim tool prior. That was some satisfying sounds right there. Hopefully I didn't break anything. Oh, actually, we don't have to worry about breaking these because, well, they're gonna be replaced. So now that exposes the Torx 30 and Torx 30 right there. Alright guys, sorry I can't get anybody to film me, but so we got the door panel off. Got some connections here to do. This will just pull out, hopefully. There we go. And then this will also. All right, got the door panel removed. Gonna pull this out, unclip it. This connector twists, pulls out. We don't need this anymore. Now, on the bottom strip, we have a white connector. Not a connector, sorry, a plastic bracket that we also need to remove. Then that should pull out. All right, head back over to the trunk where we put everything. All right, so now we will try to locate the passenger door LED strip and the small one, and we also need a door handle now. All right, so I located door up label, and then door down and a door handle. Grab those, come over here, now we install. All right guys, so I have the upper side here. This is going to go right there. All right, hope you guys can see that, but we're gonna drill this hole just a little bit wider. And I have the lower side here now. Just gonna have to fit that. I'm actually just gonna pry it in there because that seems like the best way. I would not recommend using a metal screwdriver for it though. Might want to use something plastic actually. Alright guys, so I was able to feed this into the channel, the bottom LED strip. Hope you guys can see that. It's all in there, it's tucked in. And now this one is also tucked in. And now we have to deal with the door panel. Have to tear some of this off. Head back over to the trunk. And this is the main wiring harness, but you're gonna have 4 of these in a bundle. Sorry, hard to record. But you're gonna have these wires and you're gonna have 4 of them, 4 sets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and each one is gonna be for each door. So, and this is what we're gonna be fishing through the whole harness connector, etc. All right, so this is now messed up, ripped up, but I pulled this rubber seal off the door. I stuck a zip tie through there and it was very difficult. So now I have the zip tie coming out on this end and we're gonna have to fish this wire in through. All right, so fishing that wire through, that's gonna be the most difficult part for sure. So getting that zip tie in there is going to take you a couple times. You're not going to get it instantly. And if you do, well, good for you. But you're going to have to play with it a little bit. So now I'm going to start doing this whole wire harness thing. Don't forget you have 4 of these. All right. So the best way to do this, guys, in my opinion, I have 1 ground wire in there coming out. You can use any type of wire, just make sure it's like flexible and everything. So this zip tie is useless. So 1 ground wire is basically opening up the very little area that you have in there. And then I have a 2nd ground wire that I just cut this one. And I actually am using this to fish each wire individually through the harness. So this is probably going to take you a good 30 minutes if you're lucky to just do this. All right, finally got those wires all in, all 4 of them. That was such a pain. That took me like an hour. But now we're gonna have to remove this. So how do we remove it? We have this clip right here, and then we have a clip on the other side. We have to pull with a very thin screwdriver, have to just pull it apart, and then this is gonna come right out. It's gonna come up. So let me see if I can get that recorded, and then that's what we're gonna do next. So The best thing to oh no. That was not good. Best thing to do, try to get just 2 flat heads maybe, and just a little bit. There we go. Now this is off safely, hopefully. All right, so this is off, and on here we actually see pin 16. So if we just put this on here, pin 16, pin 17, pin 18, and pin 19 are not being used. So these 4 slots right here, not used whatsoever. So we will be putting these 4 wires from this into those pin slots. This is a good time to actually write down what you're gonna put in here. For instance, pin 16 is gonna be blue, pin 17 white, pin 18, you get what I mean. Anyway, I'm gonna do that now. So these connectors are facing up. That's what's holding them. If you see that there, those little arrows. These connectors, if I can get it here, they have the exact same arrows. Alright, so the arrows I just showed, they're facing up. We're putting blue first, which is going to be pin 16. Arrow facing up. Gonna fit that in there. It clicked. Pin 17 will be brown. Clicked. Pin 18 will be white. Arrow facing up. Clicked. Now pin, what is that? 16, 17, pin 19 will be orange for me. Clicked. All right, so now this connector is done. Now all these LEDs that we just installed are going to be powered on after we mess with this. So if you guys remember this connector, I pulled it out from over here. Oops. So this connector right here, already pulled it out. This was the connector that was inside here. Just put my arm on, I put my arm in there, got it out. Took a little bit of work, but now it's out. So now, since we did these 4 wires, we need to do those same 4 wires here, but with the wiring harness that's going to connect to the module right there. All right. Now we can bust this out. So if you guys remember how I was telling you, there's 4 sets of these. We just did the first set. And this is the actual powering for all those 4 sets of wires. But the harness is in the car that we just got from the back. We are going to have to locate the green little sticker that says module. And that module sticker will be plugged into the actual module itself. Then we have to route this towards the driver's side, towards the rear, So I'm gonna go work on that now. Alright, so I finally found the module connector, and this will connect to the module here. And then we're gonna just have to run these cleanly under here, maybe through there, all where, you know, just to all the way to that connector. All right, just a quick little update. I took this off. It has 2 clips. It's just a siding right here. It slides in, so be careful with that. But I think I'm gonna put the module here. It's gonna be somewhere right here, perhaps, because the connector that comes out of it is long enough to get to the iDrive. So I've got it going like this for now. This is for the door connector. This is footlight, and the rest of the connector is just going out here. But there's actually so much room there to fish the other side to over to the driver's side. So I'm just gonna work on that now, tightening it up a little bit, and then get back to it. All right, so quickly, I found the right rear, but I want to get this all in its place. So I have a ground wire right here that I basically fished all the way to that side. You can find some room. Now I'm gonna have to get the left side, the driver's side wires, all the way over to those doors. So I'm gonna try this way, make sure everything is sitting right, make sure I have enough wire, and then get back to it. All right, so here we got driver's side, footlight, left rear, and then for the door, for the front door, I'm gonna tape this up to the ground wire, and then I'm gonna pull the ground wire through from that side. All right, those 3 connectors hooked up to the ground wire. Now I just need to find that ground wire inside there. There it is. So I'm gonna be pulling that wire towards me, and hopefully everything works out. All right, so I was able to pull it with the ground wire, fish it through. And now I have all 3 of these connectors here where I need them on the driver's side, so we can get to the door panel. And then if we go back over here, here is my module connector. Module is connected. The module is right here. I pulled the wire through a little bit. All right, so now we did this connector, but now we have to do this connector. So this is for the door, and I have to take off this blue cap, the blue protective cap, but you guys might not have to because the wires we're working with are right here. But I just need to figure out the orientation of those connector pins. But you guys may not have to do this if I just show you, if you follow this video. Actually, you can kind of see them down there. But I'm gonna do it real quick, and then I'll show you guys, and you guys may not have to take off this blue connector, blue protector harness thing. But it's the same process as the one we just did. All right, so here is driver. I remember that we did pin 16 as blue. See if we can get it in here. Awesome, clicked. And now, I already forgot, guys. I already forgot which wires we did because I had to put this on yesterday so the door could close. But this is why you write things down. So give me 1 second. I'm just gonna check which other one. All right, so it looks like pin 17 was our brown wire. Again, we have this little spoiler type thing. It has to click, so it's secure in there. So pin 17, here we go. Facing up. Facing up. we go, it clicked. And pin 18. All right, pin 18. Again, connector facing up, so it can click into here. Pin 18 was white. Not in there yet, it didn't click. There it is. All right, guys, so I showed you how to do the door harness. I showed you how to do the wiring, what color I did what. Just make sure you do every wire to wire, everything correctly. Otherwise, something is not gonna work correctly. But all right, so I tightened that connector back on. We're connected to the harness. Now we have to locate the sticker that says right rear. This is most likely the footlight since it doesn't have pins. And now the reason why I told you guys to unbolt your seats is because we have to take off this pillar now, and then we're gonna have to take off the B pillar. All right, got it off. Had to slide it that way actually. And now we're gonna have to take off this pillar. If the seat is in the way, you can move the seat back as much as you need to, but let's get to it. All right, so we're back on the driver's side. Got all this wired through. Now, this process to take this off with the airbag is the exact same as the passenger side. All you do is you have an extra speaker here, and then the OBD port. So the OBD connector, this slides out as much as it does, and then we have 2 tabs on each side that we have to pry outwards. Get a little flathead screwdriver, you can pry it out. I can't do it with one hand, but all right, I just pried these tabs out. Now it'll slide out, and now we can remove this. And now this is gonna take 2 hands, but I already did it. Now all right, I got my Phillips. I have a Torx 20. Now we're gonna have to remove this gateway module. You peel the carpet back, and then there's 1 screw on the bottom, and then 1 screw on top of it. All right, now that the module is removed, we can finally access the other door, driver door harness connector. It's right there. I know you can't see, it won't focus. All right, got the connector removed. Same process as passenger side, but with this connector, since there's no room over here, there's like barely any room, I'm just gonna run these wires out using some ground line, the ground wire we used previously, so I can get these to poke out here, and then I am just going to install these wires from here. Now that this is pulled through, I am going to tuck this into the carpet area here, and then we will be removing the B pillar once again, just like we did on that side. All right, guys, finish the door panel. That's all done. Now we get to reassemble the interior, clean this out. Same process as taking it off, just all the plastic pieces, etc. The pillar here, and then the trunk opening and B pillar. Now, don't forget that we have a footwell light, one more plug for the 9-color footwell. This up. Get this in here first, because that's not going to go in a different way. And then just push this in, because you don't want to bend this or break it. There we go. That took a little while. Shit. Now real quick with the top part of this B pillar here, you've got these 2 tabs. They slide into these 2 tabs. And then you have these that just clip in. I'm missing one, but should be all right. All right, guys, so I'm all done. Everything's put back into place. We got all the doors done, and here is the iDrive connector, and here is the splitter. So remember there's 8 wires coming out of this. One goes to the iDrive, the other one goes to the module. So I left the module here. I was able to have enough of the actual harness to route everything to the doors. Here is the original iDrive connector. So this is the blue one, and then this is obviously the splitter. This goes to, well, you guys understand. And then the module itself is connected to the splitter. And then if you guys remember, on the actual wiring harness, we had the green sticker on here that said module. So it's all pretty self-explanatory. It's not that hard. And for the door trim you're gonna have the LED strip that's not labeled. So I literally just unclipped this. I didn't even take it out completely. I just unclipped it from that side, and then I stuck it under the wood trim. There's a little area that you can do it, and then that wire actually just goes, I'll show you guys real quick. All right, so that wire here just runs through here, because the harness is underneath over there. I had a lot of it. I had extra slack, but you guys can see it right here. Here is the actual harness for it. This just unclips, really easy. Not a difficult install, guys. The only difficult part, if it focuses, was these getting the wires through here, and then that was the only hardest part. So we're all done. Now we just got to get this center console back in here, and it's all good to go. All right, guys, I got everything installed. Now is the time for the coding process. I am using Beamer code with a V-Gate Wi-Fi Bluetooth adapter. This can be done through ESIS, but I am not 100% sure of how that works. I just know you have to code the HU_MBT module. I know that has to be the module that has to be coded for this. But I will show you guys how I did it with Beamer code. It's very simple. It's all you really have to do is just make sure some things are active. I'll get the footage of how it is at night, but there's like three main colors. There's like blue, white, and then orange, and then all the other colors have like blue, white, orange, but it's actually like purple. And then there's like a turquoise color, and it says like white, orange, white. I'm gonna see, hopefully I can upload a video of how to change those so they can just be like one color and you know which color you're gonna choose. I'm sure there's a way to do it. I'm sure there's a way to code what it says in the iDrive controller system. What other, if your hands don't look like this after the install, like all scraped up, then you probably did it wrong, because those spaces in the door hinges so tight. Trying to think of some other stuff. Actually, what other content do you guys want to see? Because I did these LEDs because people in the F10 Facebook group that I'm a part of, everybody was asking about it, so I decided to help you guys out. I just want to do content that's not out there, you know. Like, I'm obviously going to install coilovers at one point and a downpipe and all that stuff, but that's already out there. So it's like it's just like watching another person do the same install. But I mean, that pretty much wraps it up. Yeah, I want to do some more content, because this video, as far as I know, there is not a helpful video of how to actually go about this. So yeah, like, subscribe.